In this video we'll unbox the folding piano 88 from Carry On. This is a portable keyboard with 88 keys for about $100. The blue box has a handle for carrying it home from the store. Empty the content on the table. There are styrofoam pieces that protect the keyboard. The instruction manual is in several languages including English, French and German. The USB power cable is interchangeable with the one used to charge my camera. A foot pedal with a plug the same size as the one for small headphones. A cloth carrying bag. And the last thing are stickers with the names of the notes you can put on the keys. People who posted reviews on the folding piano already mentioned some of these are printed in capital and others in small letters. Don't know why. This is one of the most portable keyboards in the market. It folds up easily so that you can put it in a travel bag. The length of each piece is just 13 inches or 33 centimeters for those who like to use metric units. The width is barely 5 inches or 12.5 centimeters. The four pieces that are stacked together add up to barely 3.5 inches or 9 centimeters high. The width of each key is standard like piano keys, but the length and height is shorter, making the keyboard very portable. You'll notice the difference as you play. The 61 roll-up with the label hand roll piano is more portable but less playable. The length of the black box is 9 inches or 23 centimeters and the width is around 3.5 or 9 centimeters. And the height is barely 1.25 inches or 3 centimeters. When the rubber keyboard is wrapped around it, the width is about 2 inches or 5 centimeters more. Put both of these on the table and compare the feel of the keys. The rubber keys on the roll-up are like the ones on your TV remote when compared to the folding 88. Put the roll-up away and see if the box for the folding 88 will fit in the travel bag. Looks like the box won't fit since it's about 1.5 inches or 4 centimeters bigger on each side. Before we test this thing, look on the back and we see the label Made in China, which is something you'd expect for a full-sized keyboard like a Roland or Yamaha. And on top you see the text Carry On, designed in partnership with Black Star Amplifications UK. Flip the keyboard around and on the right side above the right speakers you see the label Carry On. Browse the Black Star Amp website, you find that they make guitar amps and not keyboards. After a search on Amazon and eBay, found another keyboard that looks identical. On the same spot above the right speaker you find another label in large Chinese letterings. Scroll down to the comment section and you find a customer from the US complained that the instruction manual is in Chinese. Found the brand name MIDI Plus after a Google search. Go to their website, we find that it's part of the Longjoin group in China. Besides the folding 88, they also have a folding piano 49 that folds in half. Does the keyboard have anything to do with Black Star Amp in the UK? Probably not. It is likely that the folding piano 88 is marketed under two brand names. The ones with the label MIDI Plus is intended to be sold locally in China, while the ones with the Carry On label is to be sold abroad. Some of the keyboards with the MIDI Plus label in Chinese ended up on Amazon and eBay. This would explain why some people got the instruction manual only in Chinese. Next, unfold the keyboard on the table. This is a small table barely big enough to hold the keyboard at the two joints. We find that the four pieces join together in three places between the notes E and F. There are little plugs at the joints. Push them in to lock the pieces. There is a claim that you can play the keyboard when it is partially folded, but this is not practical. Cover the left half and you can only access the high notes. When you cover the right half you can only access the low notes. Most beginner and intermediate pieces you'd play the keys in the middle around the middle C. Note that the keyboard is not one solid piece of plastic, so putting it on a longer table is recommended. Plug the power cable into a computer USB for charging. We see a dot moving around to show the instrument is on standby. This thing has a rechargeable battery. When fully charged, we should be able to get 8 hours of playing time without plugging it in. Hold the power button for a few seconds to turn it on. We see the number 1 on the display panel, which is the default instrument piano. When we press the back arrow, we see 128, which is the number of instrument effects available. The sound effects are sort of like those of real instruments and we won't go through all of them. Printed on the blue box is the text saying this thing has stereo speakers. Not a big deal unless you get realistic piano sound to go with it. Adjust the volume. This keyboard has 10 settings from soft to loud, which is adequate but not as precise as having a volume knob or a slider. It'd take a few minutes to get used to playing since the keys are very thin. The plastic keys make tapping noise as you play. And it's not the instrument you'd practice a song and switch easily to a regular piano later. Definitely don't want to try a technical classical piece here. Let's try a few sound effects starting with the piano. Here you just see the number 1 on the display. The instrument names are listed in the manual. Sorry, the keys are not touch sensitive. Number 4, honky tonk. Number 7, harpsichord. Number 9, celesta. Number 20, organ. Takes a while to scroll up to number 57, which is trumpet. Not bad for a cheap keyboard. Next, press the demo button and listen to a few pre-recorded songs. The names of each song is in the back of the manual in case you want to know. They sounded impressive. I'm sure nobody will be able to play these the way they sounded on this keyboard. Certainly not with the tapping noise of the keys. On the control panel there is a metronome button. Press it once to turn it on and you see CLH. Don't know what it stands for. Use the left and right arrows and you find that it can count up to 6 beats. You can adjust the volume to make the ticking sound louder or softer. This is common with a lot of keyboards. The metronome is intended to work with the tempo. Press the tempo button and then the arrow buttons, you see that it goes from 1 to 16. Unlike the metronome on a more expensive keyboard, you don't get the number of beats per minute. You just get the beats from very slow to very fast. Set the speed to 4 and play a song. Turn the metronome off. You can easily download a metronome app on your phone that has more features. This one allows you to change to different ticking sounds, use exact beats per minute. And you can keep the volume low so the ticking sound is not distracting. Besides the metronome, the accompaniment feature has different rhythms like the phone app we've seen a minute ago. Adjust the volume to hear the beat. Press the back arrow and we see a 128. This is the number of rhythms we get. All the rhythms are listed in the manual. Instead of using a metronome that you'd get the same ticking sounds all the time, you get different drum beats. Try a few of these and play a tune on top of it. Like the metronome, this is intended to work with the tempo with 16 speeds from slow to fast instead of beats per minute. That was fun. The other button you might find useful is the transpose. Keep playing the middle C and see what happens when we press the arrow buttons. The right arrow we go up half a pitch at a time and stop at 6, which is the F sharp higher up. Go the other way, we end at -6, which is the F sharp a few notes lower. Not a big range but works. Move the setting back to 0. If you learn a song in one key and another person wants to sing it in another key, you can change the pitch easily without having to change fingerings. Next we'll see how MIDI input works. While the power cable is plugged into the computer's USB port, it is also for MIDI input. It's more convenient than having to plug in a separate MIDI cable with round plugs for input and output. Open a notation input program like MuseScore. On the blank score, enter the title and the composer. Change the key signature. Turn on notation input and change the note type to 16th. Press the key slowly as there is a fraction of a second lag time. Lift your hand slightly off the keys after each input since we don't want to overlap notes unintentionally. Need to change the note type here. You can actually play all the notes of a chord instead of having to input each note individually, which is handy. It's nice to have something this portable you can carry anywhere for composing your own music. The last thing is to test the foot pedal to see if it works. As you can see, it is just a little thing that is less than half the size of the pedals for the bigger keyboards. It makes a bit of ticking sound when we press on it. We can plug it in whether the keyboard is on or off. As you'd expect, a small pedal doesn't let you hold it in the middle easily. You either press it all the way down or it's all the way up. This thing got rubber pieces at the bottom and it is staying put on the floor. Play the same C and hear if the note is sustained when the pedal is down. You can't really tell the difference. Let's play a slow piece while holding the pedal down and see how it sounds. For sure doesn't sound anything like a grand piano. Here is something that is not available on the folding piano 88. In case you want to do a recording, you can use a device such as a smartphone or a stereo recorder and transfer the recording to a computer after. You can also use the computer's built-in microphone with a sound recording program. This computer is on Windows 10. Do a right-click on the speaker icon at the bottom right and open Sound Settings. Under Input we see Microphone Array, which is the default for this computer. We see the microphone icon at the bottom of the screen. Shrink the menu and leave it open. We can now use a sound program for recording. As with any recording device, we're going to pick up the background noise in the room. You can also plug in a stereo cable from the folding piano's headphones jack to the computer directly without capturing any background noise. This computer doesn't have a line-in socket for audio recording, so we're going to use an USB adapter. Here we have an audio cable plugged into an USB adapter for a microphone. One end will go into the keyboard's headphone socket, and the other will go to the computer's USB port. Open Sound Settings and do a quick check. The input device is now an USB plug-and-play microphone. Close the menu. Open the sound recording program. Here we're using NCH WavePad. Go to Options and under Recording, make sure the input device is the USB plug-and-play microphone. Adjust the record volume as needed. Close the menu and press record whenever we're ready. Stop the recording. Voila! Bach should be impressed. The program is doing a playback automatically. Close the file and save it in a WAV format. After trying the different features, what is the verdict? Is the folding piano 88 a good buy, and what are the positives and the negatives? There are certain things that are standard in high-end keyboards, including a good piano sound with a few other instrument effects, weighted keys, a good sustain pedal, a metronome, a record button and a socket for headphones. There are a few places where the designers had to cut corners in order to make the folding keyboard portable. The first and the last positive thing about the keyboard is that it is so light and compact you can take it everywhere. For a small price you can buy it as a second instrument for traveling. This thing got a built-in lithium-ion battery. You get 8 hours of playing time when it is fully charged. There are keyboards that allow you to insert batteries when plugging it into a power source is not convenient. The older alkaline batteries might only last for a few hours since a full-size keyboard takes a lot of power. The built-in battery is definitely a plus. The USB cable can be used for both battery charging and MIDI input when it is plugged into a computer, is very handy. Another good thing about the keyboard is that it can be used as a MIDI controller. Portable MIDI controllers don't usually have 88 keys, so this is definitely a plus. Although the keyboard is very portable, the joints are held together by plastic plugs. The connecting pieces are not solid enough to be placed on a portable keyboard stand and must be on a solid surface like a table, so this is an inconvenience when going places. The metronome that can count up to 6 is sufficient, but the tempo with 16 settings instead of actual beats per minute is definitely not for serious musicians. Many keyboards have a record button. Would be handy if the folding 88 has one and you can transfer a recording to an USB stick instead of having to use another recording device. Other features like the different sound effects and different accompaniments, a lot of keyboards have them, so not a big deal. Don't think there is anything the designers can do to make the keys touch sensitive or weighted like a regular piano without adding more weight to the keyboard. Although the keyboard does come with a sustain pedal, you should use a better pedal available for full-size keyboards. Don't expect a keyboard this size to be able to plug in a 2 or 3 pedal unit. A nice balance between portability and keys that are closer to a real piano would be something like a Yamaha Piaggero or a Roland Go keyboard. Otherwise, the folding 88 is good for learning slow pieces that are not technical. The main selling point is the portability at an affordable price. For someone who travels a lot, having a portable keyboard is a plus. We'll end the video with the beginning of a pop song from the 70s, enjoy. Have fun with your folding piano 88 and thank you for watching.